Good evening, fellow travelers. This comes to you from darkest Africa, at the darkest moment of our dark, dark history, from the depths of my despair and my exasperation with our terrible, sad, pathetic government, the failure of all civilization. Here we are in the midst of a pandemic. And inside the pandemic, we're in the midst of a lockdown. And inside the midst of the lockdown, we now also have load shedding. So here we are. It's 20 past 10 on the 29th of December in the year 2020 in Sea Point, Cape Town, with no freedom, no electricity, no vaccine when the rest of the world is already vaccinating its citizens, with a currency that's gone to hell. And now the lights have gone out. So we have no internet. We have no entertainment. The streets are as silent as the grave because we have a curfew and nobody is out. Not a car. Not a car, not a hooter, not a pedestrian. Tonight even the sea has gone silent. I can't hear the waves breaking. Nothing. That's it. We thought that we had this under control. We were promised that it was under control. We've had speech after speech after speech from our wise, benevolent, fatherly figure of a president. But he's been lying to us. And tonight we've reached this new low. We have nothing. People don't realize how different it is to be in a failure of a place like this compared to being, for example, 2-3 nights ago on TV. We were hearing how the poor old Brits were suffering because of Brexit and the border was closed and thousands of trucks were lined up along the highways. They couldn't get through across the channel. We also had thousands of trucks lined up, except we didn't have a highway. They were lined up on the road leading to Beitbridge on their way through to Zimbabwe, when suddenly the borders were closed and it was decreed that all traffic through to Zimbabwe had to be COVID tested, one person at a time. So we had a line of trucks pretty similar to the British line of lorries. But there was a difference. The temperature in the sun was cooking hot. The British lorry drivers complained that they didn't have food. The African truck drivers waiting at Beitbridge, 4 of them died of heat stroke. Died. Sitting in their trucks, waiting to get through the border. There were pedestrians on foot trying to get through the Beitbridge border post. 2 of them died of heat stroke. 6 people died trying to get across the border, not because they were crossing illegally or they didn't have papers or they were shot by the guards or anything like that. They just died waiting in the heat, like patient, ever patient African citizens, trusting their governments. They died for no reason. They died for no cause. They died and it didn't even get into the international news. They just died because they were so patient and so trusting that they thought that somebody would come and help them, and nobody did, because in Africa, nobody does. And the world carried on. Not a ripple. It just carried on. The border posts relented, the traffic moved through, and we carried on. And tonight, as if all of that hasn't been enough, with COVID at its height, with no space left in hospitals for new admissions, with hospitals running out of oxygen for COVID patients, the power goes out. Now what? Fuck this government.